Let's look at the steps to upgrade to Windows 11 version 25H2 early BB. Windows Insider Pro. These steps apply to devices already running version 24H2. So first, open the Settings app, go to Windows Update, then open the Windows Insider Program settings. Now we're going to join the program. We're going to link a Microsoft account, and then we're going to select the release period channel, which is where the feature update is going to be available. Hit continue, and click the Start Now button. After the computer starts, open the Settings app one more time, and then on Windows Update, make sure to turn on the option to get the latest update, and then click the Check for Updates button. Now the system is going to download the latest update for version 24H2, and now just click the Restart Now button to apply the changes. Now to upgrade your computer to the latest version of the operating system, just open Start and open Settings, then go to Windows Update. Make sure that this option is turned on, and if you don't see the option to install version 25H2, make sure to click the Check for Updates button first, and then the option should become available. Now to upgrade, just click the Download and Install button. Now just click the Restart Now button to apply the changes and switch to version 25H2. And that's it. Now if we go to the Settings app, System, About, under Windows Specifications, you're going to notice that the version now has switched to version 25H2. Now, this is important. After the upgrade process, make sure to go to Windows Update, then open the Windows Insider Program settings, and then click on Stop Getting Preview Builds, and then make sure to turn on the Unenroll option. When you turn on this option, your computer will continue to get updates through the Windows Insider Program, but once the feature update becomes available to everyone, the computer will gratefully opt out of the program, and it will stay in the stable channel to continue receiving updates and support as long as version 2025.
Hey, this clip is a perfect reminder that air actually takes up space. When the funnel seals the bottle, the liquid can't flow because the air trapped inside has nowhere to escape. But if you lift the funnel, the air can be pushed out as the liquid falls straight through. The air is swapping places with the water. It's the same principle behind the glug-glug sound when you pour water from a bottle. Hey, this clip is a perfect reminder that air actually takes up space. When the funnel seals the bottle,
using Internet Explorer in 2023? Okay, so first we're gonna try Windows 11. Ooh, that's an ugly wallpaper. Ooh, better. I guess it doesn't really work on Windows 11. Let's try Windows XP. It's doing something. God, that's so cool. Dude, what the frick, man? Oh, that worked? Let's see. Google.com. That worked too. And let's try Googling something. That totally does work, dude. Apple.com. Yes. Let's try YouTube. Most of these. It might work on Windows 7, Google.com, which works. Oh, that worked! It scrolls like a million years later. Let's try YouTube. We're gonna move on to the weirdest Internet Explorer. So this is macOS 10 Panther. Internet Explorer! That looks nothing like Internet Explorer. First of all, the colors are off. Like it's blue-green. Touch theme. Google is the only website that loads. Dude, how do you even make a new freaking app like that? Using Internet Explorer in 2023? Okay,
He climbed up into the plane's wheel compartment, hoping to see the world. But he didn't realize the wheel compartment door would open again in the sky. You see, he had run away from home because he wanted to travel. And when his parents caught him and put him into boarding school, he ran away from there as well. He snuck into the airport before smuggling himself onto the plane. And As it took off, he thought he would finally get his wish. But as soon as the door opened again, the boy dropped out. And at that exact same moment, a man was testing out a new camera lens. He snapped this chilling photo, capturing the death of the boy and his dreams. He climbed up into the plane's wheel compartment.
This guy was shopping for cereal at Walmart when he noticed a box of cornflakes that had roaches printed right on the front. He thought it was strange, but out of curiosity, he bought it anyway. When he got home and opened the box, he was shocked to find real live cockroaches. And since he hates them, he'll now be putting those roaches in the cereal of those who do not like and subscribe. This guy was shopping for cereal at Walmart when he noticed the
So here's the thing, Windows is free. Really, people think, man, you gotta pay for Windows, you gotta buy a key, a disk, or activate it in a totally legal way. But the truth is, if you want, you
Heads or tails? What would you choose? Well, if you chose tails, then congratulations, but it'd be tough to top what I just did because I was recording with Royal Pair when we accidentally set a coin flip record that apparently only happens 0.1% of the time. To give some context to this, you're more likely to get struck by lightning, score a 300 in bowling, or randomly guess a 3-digit number than do what we just did. Here, try it. Guess a 3-digit number. Well, if you said 738, point proven. But anyways, we didn't just get 3 tails in a row, nor 4...
My Ethernet is 2 times slower than my Wi-Fi? Incorrect. He also says, my router is faster than my internet, is what I'm saying. Okay, I'm just letting you know right now, that is not likely unless there's a problem. So let me walk you through what I would do in this case. Now first up, definitely run an internet speed test, both with Wi-Fi and with Ethernet to make sure what you're saying is actually true. The most common cause for this situation is either because your cable is using an older standard, which could bottleneck your speeds, or for whatever reason, the Ethernet port is a super old 100 megabit port. You'll know that you're getting the full full speed if it's blinking green whenever you're on the internet. If you only see an orange light, that means there's some issue going on and it's not operating at full speed. This can sometimes happen if the cable is bad, old, or just not even plugged in all the way. Or also try going to your motherboard's support page and manually downloading its LAN/Ethernet driver. Definitely investigate this situation further because your Ethernet should always be fast.
This Deltarune mod is called Delta Theft Auto, and it lets you drive cars in Deltarune. Pretty simple gimmick, obviously very broken too, as you could imagine. And with the inclusion of a no-quit button, you better believe I used this as an opportunity to sequence break in Chapter 3, and made it so Rules Card could just hang out in the green room, even though he had been dumped by this point. Polyamory Rules Card wins in the end, I guess. This Deltarune mod is called
What is that? 68,000 hours on My Little Pony! The developers of this game are attacking me, bro. You guys are coming in my Discord and submitting this. There's no way all y'all are playing Cookie Run Kingdom, bro. This is the guy that keeps adding you guys to the WhatsApp group chats. You are a scammer, bro. This might be the #1 Discord mod, bro. I gotta ban you, bro. But that's bad looks for me, bro. Come on, bro. Photos for 15 hours! Between me and you, man, you're just reminiscing, right? That's all this could be, right? Once again, why are we censoring what we're using the most? This is sus, chat, bro. We can't prove it. I mean, take your best guess. Come on, bro. Forget YouTube, Safari, and App Store. Forget that! What are you doing in tips?
We at Team Cherry are happy to announce that Silksong has officially released, but due to its immense demand, Silksong has crashed Steam and the Nintendo eShop.
What? That is insane! What about the PlayStation Shop?
Unfortunately, the game still hasn't been listed for sale on PlayStation. We apologize for these issues.
No, it's not your fault. I genuinely can't remember the last time a game crashed Steam, Nintendo, and PlayStation. This is an amazing problem to have, and it shows just how much people wanted to play Silksong. Even with all these problems, Silksong has surpassed the all-time Hollow Knight concurrent player record for Steam.
Yes, we're really happy with the performance of the launch.
Silksong might go down as the biggest sequel to a game of all time, and the fact that it's only $20 shows that gamers are tired of the overpriced AAA slot and would rather buy from developers who actually have a passion for gaming.
We at Team Cherry are happy to announce that Silksong has officially released, but due to its immense
Why is there an @ symbol in your email address? Enter Ray Tomlinson, the guy who invented email. One day back in the 1970s, he needed to pick a symbol to put between the username and the domain. Originally, he was thinking about using a comma or a slash, but annoyingly, they were already heavily used in programming and usernames, and that would be too confusing. So he began searching for a symbol that no one used. Trouble was, basically all of them were used, all except one, the @ See, originally the @ symbol was this boring accounting thing used to show the price of one single unit of something. For example, 12 cookies at $1 each. So nobody really used it, except accountants. It also conveniently fit into the email address format of name, @ domain. It was perfect, and the email address was born. Why is there an @ symbol in your
walked into his basement. He never came back out. His wife went to check on him. She didn't come out either. And their teenage son the same thing. Finally, the grandmother went in after them and collapsed in the pile of bodies. You see, the family stored potatoes in their cellar, but as they rotted, they released a toxic gas. As each family member entered, they were quickly suffocated, killed by their own spuds. A man walked.
So I was working on this draggable lever in my game, but something felt off. When I hover over it, the cursor changes to a pointing hand. You see, cursors are like little hints to the user. The pointing hand says click me, but this isn't a button. For a draggable lever, we want a grabbing hand that says drag me. To create my own grabbing cursors, I took the pointing hand and extended all 4 fingers to make it look like an open palm, like you're about to grab something. Then I made another version with curled fingers for the grabbing state. I imported them to Unity, added a little code, and now when you hover over the lever, much better. If you want to see exactly how I set up the custom cursors in Unity, check out the video linked below.
YouTube has changed in 2025. Let me explain. So YouTube has added a lot of new features in 2025. For instance, their most recent feature is YouTube Hype, where viewers are allowed to hype up 3 videos per week for creators under 500,000 subscribers, and doing this will actually boost those videos and have them on the algorithm more often. Let's hope people actually use this feature for good and not bad, because I'm a little worried. Next, another recent feature is AI age verification, where viewers will have to verify their age if the new YouTube AI senses that you are underage due to the videos that you're watching. Let me know in the comments if this has happened to any of you all yet. And finally, if you didn't know, YouTube removed their trending page feature in order to display the most popular content in category-specific charts. Which one do you guys like or dislike the most out of all of these? YouTube has changed. struggles of being a left-handed, part 3. So I've already made 2 videos about the struggles of being left-handed, and you will know saying there's just so much more. So we're gonna keep this going. Saying that, left-handed people claim that throughout their life, every time somebody realizes they're left-handed, it's a major deal. And following this is many jokes about them being left-handed. Next, I'm sorry I've never even thought about this, but we have handshakes. Because you know how us right-handed people feel weird when we give somebody a handshake with our left hand? Well, that's exactly how left-handed people feel when they give somebody a handshake with